Here's the 80-20 for performing well on Amazon. 80% of your sales will come from where you rank for keywords. That's 80%. That's all we have to solve for. 80% of keyword positioning is from sales through keyword. And I see you in the forums and the comments and the blogs debating over what tactic is going to get you this. But the truth of the matter is, 80% of it is sales through keyword. You can solve for that however you would like. There's a myriad of different ways that you can do that. I'll show you mine. 80% of sales through keyword comes from audience. Who pays attention to you? Who shows up when you speak or when your brand speaks? 80% comes from the audience that you control. So let's put this into a nice little mathematical theorem here. This is my entire thesis. This is it in 30 seconds. If I control an audience, even a small one, and they do what we or I tell them, then I can get sales on any platform. If I can get sales on any platform, and I do this across 3 to 5 products, selling an average of $30, that's $1 million business. So that's all I have to solve for. That's a business that can be scaled or sold. That's all that I am figuring out at the beginning of a business. This is all that I am figuring out when I'm advising someone. This is all you need to figure out in order to get to the million. We break this process into 3 stages. Stage 1 is about 3 months from getting started. I call this the grind. Your entire job in this stage is to perform a product launch through an audience that you control. You are grinding your way to every sale, every follower, every eyeball, so that they pay attention to you and the next 3 to 5 products that you will release. That will take you about 3 months. Your second 3 months, I call it the growth, is where things get good. This is when you are maintaining at least 25 sales a day across at least 2 products. And your last 6 months, the last half of your year, is when you cross the million. We call this the gold. This is your only job, is to release more products through the system. Stage 1 is proving the system. 2, optimizing the system. 3, deploying the system over as many products as you can comfortably handle at decent profit margins. That's all we have to do to get to the million. That's it. You can do other stuff if you want. And there's going to be other people who talk about how they killed it with this, and how they're smashing it with this, and how they're crushing it with that. If that helps you go through this process, great. If not, ignore it. Doesn't matter to you right now. Number 1 advertising source in the world. And this has been true as long as I've been selling things on the internet. The number 1 source of advertising is MySpace. I'm kidding. The number 1 source of advertising, other people's audiences. This takes many forms. It's podcast sponsorships. I have one team that I advised once. I just looked at them and I'm like, you just need to spend more money on podcast ads. 3 years later, they came to me and said, hey, that added like $4 million to our revenue. Thank you. Should have charged more. Okay. Other people's audiences, podcast, YouTube channels, blogs, influencers, anyone who controls eyeballs. That is how you think of advertising. Other people have the distribution. You are paying to be in front of the distribution. I could spend a whole hour talking about this, but this is the 80-20 of advertising. If you know your person and you know what they buy and you've got the solution for them, find out who's in front of those people. Pay them. Partner with them. Get them to be fans. Become BFFs with them. That's your job. That's what you do at this stage of the process. So, how many of you have ever eaten one of these? Quest bar came out of nowhere, had $100 million. You know how they scaled? Other people's audiences. They got good at a couple flavors. That gave them the audience to really start to scale. Do you know what the number one, when it launched, what the number one selling flavor of Quest was? Blueberry muffin. Why? It's when their audience was biggest. Had nothing to do with anything except the audience was responsive at that time. Now, the reason I tell you this example is because at one time, Quest bars were the number one selling product on all of Amazon. And I don't think they had anybody internally who was the Amazon manager. Now they can do things like chips and pizzas, and they're in Targets, and they do cookies and all kinds of stuff because they built the audience that's quite literally on a quest, on a journey. Your challenge in this third stage, your challenge in this phase is going to be managing Amazon. Many of you want to be Amazon experts. That's awesome. I have no interest in being an Amazon expert. The idea that I'm going to be the best in the world at a certain platform while I'm trying to build something big doesn't make sense to me, for me, where I want to spend my time. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have to learn to let go. Amazon's a really, really good opportunity for you to learn to let go. Now, there's a couple things that we've done to be able to clear this hurdle. You can hire somebody in-house. That's what I started doing. Brought somebody in-house, told them, go to all the events, go to all the conferences, read all the books. You can hire a freelancer on Upwork. You're going to have to vet them, make sure they're good. There's also agencies now popping up. There's one in my back room. They're called Turnkey. I think that's their website. They're called Turnkey. They've done a really good job for some of the people I know. There's other ones out there too. But can you get it off your, I shouldn't even say off your plate. Can you hire someone who is better than you at managing the sales channel so you can go launch new products, so you can go lead the vision of the company, so you can go build a real empire, so that you can start new sales channels or take half a second off? That's when you start to pivot from Amazon optimizer to being an entrepreneur. And that's going to be your challenge. Can you break through that 100K a month at this stage of the process? So this is what it looks like in 12 months. It's taking sales through an audience, knowing who your people are, serving people, releasing multiple products to that group, and having 3 to 5 products selling 25 sales a day at $30. Then you do things like advertise to other audiences and scale and all of that. Beyond that, everything else is noise. So here's your thesis. Here's what you build a business on. If you launch products to a small audience, you'll rank for keywords and get reviews. If you rank for keywords and get reviews, you'll have 25 sales a day across multiple products. That means you have $1 million business. And if you have $1 million business, you're a 7-figure entrepreneur. And depending on what you do next, determines if you're financially free for life. That's what it takes. That's the process in order.